Hello, hello, hello. Oh, we're early. Sorry. Oh, don't want to interrupt. Okay, we're early. Hello. Okay, I think it's time. No, we still have like another minute. Okay. So I think it's all right. I think it's time. I do. All right. Hello, everybody. I mean, everybody's here. Okay. Hello, everybody. No, we're not all here. Okay. So hello and can you hear me? Yes. Okay. Thank you. And then not to push my luck. Great. Thank you. I totally appreciate it. And the 50-point thing still is in application. It still stands. But can I also get I'm not sure if I can hear you. Could someone make a sound or a noise of some kind so I can make sure that I'm here?
Hello.
Oh, thank you. All right. That was good. Thank you, Kimberly. Thank you. Devin. Okay. Well, actually, Devin, that was a weird. Okay. But thank you. All right. So now we're really all here. Okay. Okay. Thank you all for your patience. Awesome, Devin. Oh, he even brought down his own thumb. See, that's another level. Like knowing when to put the thumb up is one whole level that we're all trying to get. And then even knowing how to remember it and bring it down on your own. I mean, like, whoa. Okay. I'm moved emotionally. Okay. So we're here. So, so it is, oh, I guess I should, so I put a bunch of, someone's here, sorry. Hold on.
Hi, Professor.
Hi, thank you. I love it. Thank you. I appreciate it. Good morning.
Good afternoon.
Yeah, good point.
We're in the afternoon now.
Good point, actually. Correct. I sit corrected. No, you're.
I don't know. Time is a man-made construct. You know, it might be the morning.
I totally appreciate that. You know, and if there's ever any class where you really should be allowed to say that, to say both of what you just, it's a physics class. You're absolutely right. No, yeah. And you know, all of you, you know what when I was growing up, what people used to say is those who can't do teach, and those who can't teach teach physics. No, they actually said teach physical education, but there is definitely something to be said for those who can't manage space and time teach physics, and that's me. So yes, good afternoon. You are right. And wait, I'm writing something in the chat. Oh yeah.
You sure they say that about physics teachers? Not like, like chemistry teachers.
Oh.
None of that? None of that?
I mentioned I love this class. All right, this is, by the way, you keep going like this. If anybody's thinking if she could keep me off the topic like this or keep me happy like this and keep me totally away from the exam all the way through the exam, it's probably true. I could probably be distracted by this in a good way enough to just totally forget about the whole thing. So I've got to be careful. But yeah, I'm not going to get into chemistry teacher. Well, that's gross. I'm not.
Don't worry, I don't want to either.
Okay. I should make it clear to all of you, by the way, I could certainly admit, I mean, now who knows what I know. When I was in high school, not college, but when I When I was in high school, oh, did I hate chemistry? Oh, did I hate chemistry? I mean, just to be fair. Now, did I really like physics in high school? No, I didn't like that so much either. That's another topic. But some of these things, oh, anyway, I like them all now, but that's because I have time to think about it or something. But wait, okay, yes, I like this class enough that I could easily be distracted out of an exam. Oh, and I also, all right, I'll say this to everybody now too, to try to change the subject slightly. I also hate exams. I don't know if it's clear to everybody, but like those of you who find exam, like I love school, sure, and I love physics, sure, and I've never been able to leave school yet, sure. That does not mean I like all aspects of school, and it doesn't always mean that I was always a good student either. I mean, sometimes I was, of course, but I hate exams, taking them as much as you guys really, and I hate them so much, I almost hate giving them as much as you. Some of you hate taking them, almost. Of course not. It's worse being you than being me. Do exams. I know that, and I will always know that. But we have to do them, of course. So this is, and I'm just talking to everybody now, like to get to the topic. Like there is this topic. Wait, I'm going to finish it. There is this exam coming up, so I want to start addressing it today. Hold on one second. I'm just writing something in the chat to everybody. Okay, just to be super clear, like, or I mean, as clear as I can. I have tried to construct courses before where there is no exam. Like I've actually tried, and Joe and I, one of the Walters and I have tried some many crazy things to try to make exams as like non-annoying as possible. And we can't do nothing. Like everybody knows that. I mean, of course we have to have a midterm exam and we have to have a end of the semester exam. Like even without a virus, I hate them. Even in a virus, we're going to do it. But the thing that I have to keep making clear to everybody about the way I teach or the way we do these things and stuff is like at this point, the way I teach is that I construct curricula and rules so that potentially everybody in the class could get an A. I just want to make this clear. I'm not saying everybody's going to. It's not a false promise, nor do I want people not to study or not to learn physics. Like I want you guys to get an A because you actually learn some physics, right? But the point of this class is that nothing goes wrong if everybody ends up with an A. Like it's like very much okay with me if everybody gets a legitimate A, if I felt like I wrote legitimate tests and all that. If everybody ends up with an A, it's totally okay. And we try to make it possible so that that could happen. And I have to say that because actually that's not how all classes work. In fact, technically that's not even how the college works. Like there's supposed to be Fs and stuff in a class for good or for, they're supposed to be, as I think many of you know, like at the end, like when grades come out, if everybody all the time all got the same grade, then of course grades wouldn't mean anything, right? Like duh, duh, duh. But let me tell you like the insider secret of how it works in physics is that we construct a system so that everybody could actually get an A, and we're not upset with that system, and we can defend that system to anybody who asks, because every time we do this system, whatever it is, somehow, some way, enough people in the room end up not doing the bare minimum or something like that, or like having some issue where they don't do the bare minimum and they do end up failing the course or getting a D or something in the course. Because of that, it saves it, and it's unfortunate. And I don't think, and anybody who's listening to me right now, if you're even hearing my words right now, you're probably not one of those people, honestly, right? Every semester, there's some group of people that like can never like get it together even to come to class or like even know what the tests are on or something. And sometimes it's like totally not their fault, right? And sometimes it is, and it's none of my business. What I know is that when Joe and I construct a system, I mean, all of the physics people, we construct a system that is trying to maximize physics for minimum stress because we hate stress enough, okay? But the system works and we get away with it because somehow there's always enough people that are checked out enough, like that have checked out badly enough that they actually get Fs on their own, even when we're trying to hand them As on a silver platter. They'll get Fs and Ds on their own and then make the whole system look okay and fair to the rest of the world because we always end up with some bad grades. So the good grades really mean something. And I'm really saying this to all of you. I may have also mentioned this before, but this is actually one of the secret underlying ways to get through this John Jay College forensic science program which is a very big, which is a very hard program to get through for any of us. I feel like I got through some hard programs in my life, but I never got through this one as a student. And almost all my professors, like physics professors with me, did go through this thing as a student, and I'm impressed by them. And that's why I hired them. Like, I think anybody who can make it through the John Jay program is doing something that really is an accomplishment and is hard and is meaningful. And they'll get a job on the other side if the world doesn't fall apart. And forgive me if I've said this before, but I really mean it. This program is hard. It would be hard for me, and I'm good at what I do. I mean, I'm good at physics in my head. But this program would kick my butt 6 ways to Sunday, and I would have at least one moment during this program where I'd be like, I either don't know if I can go on, or I don't know if it's worth going on. It's so much work, and all my friends in criminal justice, forgive me, are like drinking beers every weekend, and I'm killing myself, and I don't know if it's worth it. I would be that person who would have that crisis. And I'm here to tell all of you before our first physics exam, okay, that the reason the John Jay degree is meaningful, the John Jay forensic science degree, the reason that degree is real and gets you jobs, and the reason that an A that hopefully you'll get in this class will be real and will help you in PChem and instrumental and whatever you have to do next, the reason the A here will be meaningful if you get one is the same reason that the degree that you'll get from this program will be meaningful, even if 99% of the time you feel like you're just white knuckling through and you're not even sure if it's worth it or you believe in it or not. The reason both of those things will be worth it is because in both cases, some people don't make it. It's just that simple. Some people will fail this class. Even after today, even after I'm going to try to do stuff that you're going to think is insulting to your intelligence, maybe some of you, I'm going to try to make this as easy as possible, but it's not an insult to your intelligence, and it really isn't. And it's not just a free gift, because somehow there'll be just enough people in the room that won't take the help or the whatever, the A that I'm telling you how to get. There will be just enough people that won't, that your A therefore becomes legitimate because there's a way to mess it up and you didn't, whoever you are. Same thing with this program. Every moment you're about to think this program isn't worth it, especially in a virus or whatever, if you're almost about to quit and you're like, what's the point of this? The point is that if you don't quit the program, then you end up with a degree that everybody else in the world knows a lot of people couldn't get because they did quit or they were kicked out, or advised out. So that's all so here's what's going to happen. We're going to have this exam. We are going to have an exam next Monday. I did say that I was going to give you materials to help with it, like hopefully over the weekend, and I didn't. I'm giving you to right now. But I also said that over the weekend I would give you practice questions, but I would hold off on the answers for a while. But here, what you'll find in your stream, hopefully what you have found in your stream, is I gave you all a blank practice exam to practice with and work with. That's what we're going to start doing together, right? Like as soon as I shut up in about 5 minutes, we're all going to work on that practice exam, like here in real time, not for a grade, but for practice. Okay. I also put in the stream full solutions to that exam. I mean, there might be corrections or updates, blah, blah, blah. And there'll be updates to the practice, but they're there. I would not advise that you go to them first, of course. Like first, just try to work on the blank exam, but they're there to help you go back and forth as you try to work this thing out. Now, what's going to happen is next Monday, you'll have the real midterm exam that, of course, will count for a grade, and it counts fairly heavily in your grade. And again, this thing does not count. The real thing will be next Monday and will count. But number one, let me make absolutely clear, at the risk of boring you all, that thing that you take for real next Monday will look very, very similar to this practice. This is not meant to be a trick. What we want is you to be thinking about physics, not trying to think about surprises and guesswork and like us trying to fool you and play hide the ball. Your real exam will look very much like this one, as in, if you actually could nail this one, if you get yourself to the point where you can nail this one in real time and you know it because you've done it a number of times and you could just do it, then you know you're fine. You'll be fine. Like the real one will depart from will look like it in format, have the same equation sheet in the front. The problems will be divided up in the same way. The numbers will be changed. The innocent, of course, like there will be changes, but it'll be like 85% identical. One other thing before I forget. Except also this practice exam that we're giving you right now is super long. There's no way your actual exam will be as long as this. It will be so we won't use all the parts. Yeah, a partial mystery, I suppose, will be which parts will we use, but we will use some of the parts, we won't use it all. If I made that your whole exam, it's too long for an actual exam. But that practice document that's now in your stream that we're going to start working on now is as hard as the thing can get. Like, that's the point of it. It's like if you're on a cross country team and you run 10 miles every day to practice for the 3-mile race on the weekends or whatever. Like, that's what this is supposed to be. And it is supposed to be a no trick promise. Like, if you really know this thing, you'll be fine on Monday. And really knowing this thing means going through it a number of times. Physics is not easy, so you got to do it. But that's what Monday will be. I'm also going to say one more. I'm going to stop talking in a second. I know we're going to start practicing this thing, but you do really want to take it seriously. Like, it's physics. In a minute when I shut up, I'm going to say, everybody just go to it. Like, as individuals, I'm not going to do breakout rooms and I'm not going to walk away. I'm going to be sitting here. I'm going to be sitting here and you're going to start working. We're going to turn to the first page. I'll share the screen so you know what I'm talking about. We're going to turn to the first page. Everybody's going to quietly work at their own pace. Just pretend, in other words, oh, no, this is not a stupid question. Yeah, right. Okay, no, these questions. Oh, great. Thank you. No, the questions that are in the chat right now are totally. Oh, sorry. Oh, sorry. I just yelled, and so my stupid Google Home voice robot thing just yelled back at me. Like, well, that's what I need. 3 marriages. Okay. No, these are great questions, and it is why we're here today. What Marissa asked in the chat and what Rachel asked. So forgive me if I answer these out of order or whatever, and everybody's allowed to ask these a couple times because yes, I want anything we can do for you not to be mystified when you actually have the test is what we're trying to do here today, even at the risk of over talking it. So first of all, not a stupid question. There generally is not multiple choice in our physics exams. So our physics exams, and this is partly why we're giving this out now so you can see, if you've all got it in the stream, I hope you do, tell me if you don't, but if you look through the blank exam that we put in the stream this morning, and this is the first time you could be looking at it, it's like 4 or 5 huge, big problems to solve, and each problem is broken into parts. They're long problems to solve. There's very little multiple choice, if any. There's occasionally true, false or something, but really they are problems to solve. Some can be solved quickly in like 1 step or 2, kind of like the ones on the first page maybe. And then they start getting into more multi-step thing. So this is part of why it's not trivial. Okay, so there aren't really, I'm sorry to say there isn't multiple choice. I don't know if I'm sorry or not, but there isn't much multiple choice, but this I can say. Whatever it is, whatever you want to know about the real thing, really, the answer is whatever this thing looks like is what the real thing is going to look like. Like shockingly so. Like, we will change numbers, we'll take out some things, but you will, and we might, of course we're going to make it a little bit like they better understand and not just have memorized raw answers, but it will look very much like this. Now on Rachel's question though, which is also a really good question. And again, can I say, like, when there's a pause and when you're all working on this in a few minutes, and maybe some of you already are, and that's fine. But once we're all quietly working this, I'm going to put up the typical 50-point stuff in the Google thing and start getting you back at 50. And questions like this, like what's the test going to look like, are totally fair 50, questions that you can submit for 50 points. Like, I'd rather hear the questions from you than try to make them up. So Marissa's question, no, there really won't be multiple choice. But there will be whatever this practice looks like. Now, Rachel's question. Yes, very important question. Oh, thank you. Thank you for saying thank you. I appreciate that. So lovely. I'm going to miss you guys after I never get to meet you again. No, I do hope you all take Physics 204 next semester, by the way, which will be like this, by the way, if anybody's making decisions. 204 next semester, for good or for bad, it's going to be like this. I mean, again, okay, now, okay, wait. So let me keep it. As far as a question I just got in the private chat, so the test is not so much questions, it's problems, right? And this practice exam that we just gave you, that again, hopefully people are flipping through now to get a sense, but the practice exam we just gave you, I think has 4, it's called part 1, part 2, part 3. Strictly speaking, there's like 4 or 5 long problems in this practice exam, 4 or 5 multi-part problems. So like 4 or 5 problems that each go through like A through F or something in this practice exam. So you might say technically this practice exam is like 15 questions if you like. It's like 5 big problems divided each, like 25, like 5 big problems each divided into approximately 5 parts. So you might say that's like 25 questions. But let me be clear, and that was a question in the private chat I'm trying to answer now, like how long is this thing? What I'm giving you in the stream for practice is like 5 long problems, each of which has like 5 parts. Honestly, your actual exam will be like that, but shorter. Like it won't be 5 problems. It'll probably be 3 problems. And honestly, what will probably happen in yours is that of these 5 that you're looking at in this practice that we're going to practice together, so we cover everything that we've learned, probably your actual exam, I'll probably put 4 of those 5 or something very, very much like them. And then I'll probably give you a choice, like do 1, do 2, and do 3 or 4 or something like that. Like, so you're not going to have to work as long as this thing. Your exam won't take as much time as this, but you do have to like know all 5 of these problems. Let me also, and again, these are fair questions. We're really hoping that by the time you've worked through this whole practice exam, it will answer most of these questions. So, you know, hopefully it will reduce everybody's heart rate. But it doesn't until you've gone through the whole thing. Like there's some things you just can't tell until you've gone through the whole thing. So let me say again to everybody, oh, and I still haven't answered Rachel's question. Is very important. Rachel's question, I totally want to answer. I just got thrown for a second by the private chat question about questions. So one other thing is, this document, this practice, why we're going to do it together here. I mean, we're not going to do it all together, but we're going to start it together here, and we're going to keep talking about it Wednesday. Like we're going to review and put together this material and prepare for our exam, like together through this document. Like that is what's going to happen, not every minute of it, but as much as we can. And it will, and what am I trying to say? I'm trying to say, it hopefully looks approachable and familiar at first at the beginning, and it certainly gets harder and more involved toward the end. And certainly by the end of this practice exam is right up until the material that we were just doing last class. Like this exam, your actual exam and this practice exam does take us through the material that you do need to know. And I'll put a list of that too. Somebody reasonably asked me over the week, like, can you just like give us a list of the topics we've done so far? And sure, I can do that. But I will say that that list is what this practice exam is. Like, even if by the time you get to the last question of it, it looks really hard to you or something, that's because that's the material we just got into last week. But that is where we are. It is, so your actual exam covers everything we've done so far, which is what this practice exam covers. And in short, I'll put this in the public chat just to be clear. Hold on. And then I will shut up soon. I'm going to just shut up so we can work on this. But I believe, so to be, if you bear with me for a second, well, actually, yeah. Once we get I think I have a list of the topics that we've done, sort of divided into subtopics that I'll put in the chat in a second, or I'll put in the stream in a second, just so you can see it concretely. But again, that's short of, you'll see what it is on the very first page of this practice exam. There's an equation sheet, and that sort of makes it clear what's on it. Oh, okay. So I want to share the screen, but I don't want to forget Rachel's question. Some of you may be surprised at my answer to Rachel's question. The question is, her question is how the exam's going to work, yeah, how it's actually going to happen. Are you going to solve it on paper and upload or type it up? Totally great question. All right, what's going to happen is the exam, much like homework, you're given this document. You'll be given this document that looks very much like the practice exam today. A bunch of questions, a bunch of problems subdivided into sub-problems. There should be like 1A, B, C. You'll notice that in the exam, probably there isn't a lot of space between the A and the B and the C. There isn't any space to like answer the questions. So like a regular everyday physics exam, like whether we had virus or not, or like everyday homework, you're gonna, on separate pieces of paper, all of you, on your own separate blank piece of paper, you're gonna write out all the solutions to all the problems, and you're gonna label like problem 1, part A, find velocity, and then you're gonna do your work, draw a diagram, whatever, and then you'll like V equals the 2.21 meters per second, whatever, and box your answer. And yes, you're gonna carefully write down everything, all your solutions, all your work, all your answers, and label it so we know what goes with what. Hopefully you're going to do it all in, hopefully you're going to present it all in order, no matter how you thought about it or figured it out. And yes, on separate pieces of paper, you're going to write everything out. And then here's the thing, the really important answer to Rachel's question, which again, you might not expect, or maybe I've said a million times already. Once you've written out all these answers, yeah, you're going to upload one PDF as though it were a homework thing. You're going to upload it into a portal that'll open up on Google Assignments as though it were a homework thing. And to really get to the punchline then, what am I really saying? I'm saying that even with all this prep that we're going to do and take this exam seriously, and even though, yes, I'm saying the exam will occur a week from today, Monday, it's going to be a take-home document. It is going to be take-home to really answer Rachel's question. And it's really important to know, and I'm not trying to trick anybody. When I say the exam's next Monday, what I really mean is after both classes are over or something like that, I mean, both sections of Physics 203, or all three sections of Physics 203, at some time, and I'll let you know way before that, but sometime like 4 o'clock or something, we'll post this thing, and you guys will have like 24 to 48 hours. You'll have a period of time to do it, and you're going to do it on your own, not in an hour and a half or not in 2 hours, whatever. You're going to take as much time as you want, and you're going to walk back and forth to it as you want. You're not going to take it in test conditions unless you want to. And you're going to be given somewhere between 24 and 48 hours, something like that, to return it to me. It's a take-home exam. It is. I will be more clear about that as we get closer. I don't think that should change the way you study. I don't want it to change the way you study, but I'm dead seriously actually saying to everybody, oh yes, this thing will be take-home. And what does that mean in terms of your notes or your internet or your friends or your uncle who does physics or your aunt who, what does it mean about all that? It means open everything. We're going to talk about this more later today and on Wednesday, but, and I'm only worried about, I'm not worried about doing this at all. I've done it a million times. I'm perfectly confident in this approach, but it is unusual. But I am sometimes worried about saying that it happens a little too early because I don't want to fool anybody into thinking you shouldn't study or shouldn't know your physics. Quite the reverse. But I am saying to everybody, when I post this exam on Monday and I give you guys 2 days to do it, or 36 hours, let's say, to do it, if you check the internet during that time for some clarification of some topics, or you check your own notes for answers to, or you check even the practice exam solutions to how I did things in the practice exams, or you call your lab partners and your friends and start working through this stuff together, you will not be cheating. You will not be cheating. This will be an open everything exam. And I've done this a million times before, even when there isn't a virus. It is an unusual thing to do, perhaps just unusual enough that I want to make it clear that it is what I'm saying. You're going to have an open everything exam, like it, as though it's homework, and you're going to upload it on your own to me, and then it'll get graded and all of that. And those of you who work together while the exam is out there in public, like flying, like while the exam is due, any of you who, oh, did I just lose you? Wait. I don't know if I just lost you. Oh, Okay, wait. I just, All right, wait a minute. Oh, now I regret everything I just said. No, wait a minute. Well, this definitely means you're hearing me. That's the most awesome thing about it. Besides the fact that I'm touched, and that's very nice. Okay, wait, hold on. Oh, right. And that's a very fair, okay, wait. I'm trying to catch up. First of all, Erica's question is very fair. Like, yes, we will still be meeting for class. Like, that's like maybe one bummer of all this, but part of the thing is like, I'm inefficient as it is, as you all know, but I really do care about this stuff and care about you learning. So no, I'm not going to give up class. Like, we're actually not going to give over class time to the ridiculous exercise of everybody sitting there monitoring each other's cheating on a Zoom test. Like, we're not spending class time doing that. That's what I'm saying. But we will have class time. What are we going to do during class time? We're going to continue to practice for this and review. Believe me, class time on Monday will still be devoted to me trying to help people at the last minute with help that they need. I will. I mean, it won't only be, I might also go on the material and stuff like that. But any questions that anybody brings to class on Monday, like, I've been struggling with this, I don't get, Yaverbaum, how you got this answer to blah, blah, blah in the practice. I will answer those questions Monday. That's half the reason we will meet Monday, for real. Oh, thank you. Wow, I love these reactions. Okay. But then when class is over and the other section has also been over and Walter's section is over, then we'll post, and again, the exact timing details I haven't given you yet, I will. But then we're going to post this thing right after we have a real class. We will have real class. We'll post this thing, and then you all are going to freaking work together. I mean, I hope. I mean, that's why I'm saying, the funny thing about the chat is I am very touched that you think it's positive, and I'm touched that you think it's nice, and it is meant. I mean, it's certainly meant to make your life better, not worse. the best thing about the chat is it's clear that you get what I'm saying. So I can stop now. But but I have stories about this. I do want you guys to know it is out of like, I'll take the thanks and the compliments in the sense that I'm with you, that believe me, even though I chose to devote my life to studying physics, like, right. I mean, I know I went to college and I went to graduate school twice for physics. So something about it I love and all that, but I hated a lot of my experience. I hate the way tests were done, and I hate the way some teachers and professors were. So in that sense, like, if you're saying this is not striking you as miserable like that, I'll take it. And I appreciate, good. Like, I'm trying to make, because I want people to love physics. So yes, this is part of trying to trick you into actually liking it, whatever. But let me also say why this is why I started by saying it's all fair in the end, because I've got crazy stories for you guys. Like, oh yes, it's not just that I will tolerate you talking to each other once I give you this thing. We want you to. We feel that you guys have been deprived, even in the best of circumstances when there's no virus. There's not as much opportunity at John Jay for you guys to help each other as there needs to be for something as hard as physics. I got through physics because I had friends, believe it or not. Or I made friends because I did not get through physics alone. It's too hard. And I don't stay in physics alone. It's too hard. I like talking about it. So like, I have Walters and people like that to keep me on my toes all the time, and for us to teach each other. You can't do this by yourself. We want you to help each other with these exams and stuff, and legitimately help each other. So here's the thing. We're literally saying, yes, please do. We're saying, though, notice what we're saying. We're saying it won't be cheating. It won't. Almost anything you can think of as actually like tempting and cheating, we don't call it cheating. It isn't cheating. But just remember that we're saying that. So that means it's by letting you all cheat, which I don't really think it is. That means that what none of you then has is some secret advantage over the other. Like, in other words, then we're not leaving up so that the good people among you listen to us and don't go on the internet or whatever. And then someone who hasn't studied at all then just hops on the internet, gets the equations, and rocks the exam while everybody else was doing the right thing. Like, we hate that idea so much that we're saying, all of you go to the internet, all of you help each other, please do. But know that we know that. So it doesn't mean we'll make the questions harder or anything. It doesn't. It means we grade harder. It means we look at the answers harder. It means, and let me look at the chat, and then I will shut up. Yeah. Exactly. Someone just put in the, you're totally right. Someone just put in the private chat. It's so perfect. It's exactly what I'm trying to, so I don't want to quote them because it's in the private, but like, I'll loosely quote. Someone just said, yes, I'm saying, we're saying the universe is your resource. Thank you. Yes, exactly what she said. And we really mean it. Because what we really want you to have, the older I get, the more I taste this experience. The only thing that's more tasty than physics itself is tasting what it's like to be an actual physicist, to not just to understand these concepts, but to have discovered them or invented them on our own. And the thing is, that's all of them were. Human beings figured this stuff out, and then other human beings believed them because it actually makes sense. It really does if you're left to your own devices to think about it enough. So what we're saying is, be like real physicists about this. Yes, treat all of Google as your resource. Treat your whole class as your resource, like when the exam is posted. But then understand that everybody's doing that, so use your resource wisely. Exactly what she say. And it means use your time. Like if you just, like, you could tune out of the whole class for weeks, but if just the moment I post the exam, you then started scrambling to make friends with people in the class and to go on the internet. I hope that a lot of you realize at this point, and say you just went straight to Chegg, okay? And this has happened before. I'll just get it out of the way right now. Of course, you could tune out of the whole class for weeks and weeks, never come to Zoom, whatever, never get these notes. And then the day the class was the day the test is posted, yes, you could go to Chegg with your Chegg account if you have one, and you could cut and paste our questions and put them into Chegg, and Chegg will give you full solutions to our questions. We know that, okay? And you can do that. And I will tell you from personal, and I'm not saying this to yell at anybody because no one's done it yet, but I'm warning everybody from just as recently as last semester when we were all doing this Zoom virus, this kind of exams, tons of people, of course, just took the exam, chopped it up, sent it to Chegg, got solutions back from Chegg and handed them in, particularly to Walters, right? And here's the crazy part, just so you all know, even if you do that, I am not, if I think you've gone to Chegg, I'm not gonna like say, oh my God, even though I said you could use anything, I didn't mean that. You've now violated the agreement, you cheat, and I'm putting you on trial and giving you an F. No, if you go to Chegg, that is fair game. You can do that. But I gotta tell you all that last semester when that happened, we didn't realize that everybody had gone to Chegg until after we got all these exams that we had graded, just objectively, just like grading the exams. And there were all of these answers that that did not connect to the questions, that sort of had the same equations related, but there was all this stuff in all these exams that was like gibberish. It was like using a lot of correct English words in the wrong history essay or something, right? In other words, it was exactly what happened when people just, A, just copy stuff that they don't understand, or B, when they understand the stuff so little that they didn't even, that all the questions were taken out of context by Chegg. And often, by the way, Chegg was even wrong, because like, what do they know? They're just people doing it for money. So like what actually happened last semester, not to freak anybody out, but we had a ton of tests that got really bad grades, and we couldn't, on the first midterm, people still did fine in the class, but we got a ton of midterm grades, particularly Walters got a ton of midterm grades that he was like, what happened? Like, why are these things so bad? I don't understand what. And then we cross-correlated and looked and was like, oh, this is the stuff that came from Chegg. That's why it's so bad. But we didn't even try to punish people for having gone to Chegg. We just thought the content was terrible. So what that means is, and I have other stories about Chegg too. I mean, I like Chegg can exist if you want. I think he's a scum. I mean, I don't want to be Chegg and I don't want to be married to Chegg. But if he wants to exist, he can exist. And if you guys want to use him, you can use him. Just understand, it's not that great of a resource. Khan Academy is a great resource. 3 Blue, 1 Brown, or whatever it's called, is a great resource. Chegg is kind of garbage, and I'm saying that publicly. What it really means is this, and then I really will show, oh, funny, okay, I'm glad. I love this class. You totally do listen, don't you? I got a funnier story than that. I got 2 funnier stories than that if you really want to hear them. But for now, I'm saying this hopefully, like again, this is why I'm willing to give 50 points for someone who just like writes wow in the chat or something. Because all of you, and I know, we all know this whole Zoom scene is so hard and physics is so weirdly hard in itself. Anybody who can like even bear to listen to me for long enough to say LOL about something I say clearly is like doing their best to focus on this and will therefore get me back to material and like that's all you can do here. Wait, it was, what? Oh, sorry. Now I feel bad. Oh, okay. Well, now I think I'm pushing my, I appreciate it. No, and really, I hope to see you guys again in 2 or 4 next semester, which unfortunately will be this way, but then hopefully the world clears and we get to know each other and I write you recommendations or I keep you in science or I give you jobs, because that's what happens. Like, you understand that every single other person that teaches physics, every single other person that teaches a lecture or a lab of physics at John Jay, if and when you encounter any of them, they all went through it. They all did well enough to then get jobs on the other side through me. Like, that's actually how this, first they were lab techs or whatever, and God knows what's going on. But like, none of this is BS. Like, so, okay, so no, I'm laughing. I'm sorry about the Chegg thing. Maybe it's better for other topics. I'm sure, other classes. I'm sure Chegg.
No, it was a joke. It was a joke.
It was really funny.
I'm even hearing your voices now. Oh my God, I should, okay. See, I
don't want you to get flattered. Like, it was a joke.
No, it's great. No, it's funny. And and really, I can't believe I'm hearing your voices. This is like, I should like call up the other professors and be like, I got them to, I actually know what they sound like now. You just gotta make fun of Chegg and you'll get them, or whatever. And I do have 2 outrageous, I will, but no, I appreciate, it's not for, good. Okay, it helps us. I believe, by the way, I do believe it can help. Look, of course, okay, now beyond, of course, even Chegg can help with anything, if you like, if you're right-sized about it, right? I mean, if you put it in its right place and you put yourself in it, anything can help with anything. And I'm not so freaking helpful myself. But the point is, back to the thing, what's going to happen is y'all are going to do whatever you do to gut yourself through this exam. And you're going to use as a primary resource, if you're smart, the first resource you'll use is the freaking practice exam, because that's how you'll know like what we're looking for and how we grade and all that. Then you'll do whatever you do. But then in the final analysis, you're going to fill out each one of you, like when the test is due, say we ask for it to be submitted back to Google Classroom, like on that Wednesday or something, then you'll each submit a document with your own name on it and with your showing all work and all your steps and all your answers, right? And we all know then and then I am going to look at it carefully. I don't look at a lot careful. I mean, but just like that, you're going to get it on time because it is an exam, and I will have to look at it on time because it's an exam. And just remember, we all know, like, I'm looking to have 100 A's. So there's like nothing between me and 100 A's, like no reason not. But when I'm looking at those exams and looking to give each one of them an A, we both know that it will be just like reading history essays that people, research papers in a history class or something that you had a week to write. We all know that no matter how much help anybody gets along the way writing a paper, in the end, if they actually write the paper, that in the end, it's pretty usually darn clear whether they wrote the paper themselves or not, number one. But number two, what's super clear is whether a person writing knows what they're talking about or not, right? Because those of you who, once you help each other and once you go wherever and you fill out this exam, in any given part, when you know what's going on, you'll know in your heart, you know what's going on, and you're going to strut it for me. Like if you get a certain problem, go crazy, draw an extra diagram, fill in extra steps, like show all your work, show all your thoughts, maybe even show, like, you might think this, but in fact you do this. Like go to town, anything you actually show, you know the feeling. If you understand it, show you understand it. And where you don't understand it, you'll be more attentive and be more like fragile, and that's human. But we know the difference. And those people who just never knew anything and were never paying attention and just on the last night just go copy a bunch of stuff from Chegg or from their friend, you all know that we know the difference. And the funniest thing about physics is we won't know the difference in the sense of like morality. It's like between you and your God, your whatever, how you did it. But we'll know the difference between good physics and bad physics. And good physics is physics that is coherent, that makes sense from the beginning of the writing to the end of the writing, because the writer who wrote the physics gets it. So, okay. So yes, totally take home, totally. Then just put your name to your document at the end. And if you learn this stuff, however you learn it, but if you've actually learned it, it'll shine through in your document. And if you actually have no idea what you're talking about and you're just trying to memorize or write down equations, that will come true as well. And anybody who's hearing me right now is probably not going to be in that other category. Okay.
Wait, Professor, I have two questions.
Yes, please.
That has nothing to do with like this semester, but one, are you teaching 204 next semester? And two, is 204 going to be online?
Very, very fair questions. And very fair questions. Okay. 204 next semester is going to be online again. Like it's going to be the same as this, like Zoom. I mean, I think technically this is, some people get yes, it's not going to be in person next semester. All of physics again is going to be like this next semester. That is like 90% a college decision and like 5% my decision to not take. Anyway, that is the reality, that it will be like this again next semester. I know. Oh, and believe me, yes. And by the way, I'm crushed about that too. But if you didn't know it, I guess this is useful to be addressing this right now. I mean, I learned this recently. I've just recently been putting in the schedule for okay, now is that? Oh no, believe me. Oh, this is killing me. I completely agree with you guys. And if you're even lasting this course, like I think I almost fully quit this course in the beginning. You saw, like I wasn't even here half the time. I don't think this is good at all. I mean, it's better than nothing. And hopefully we're all getting better at this, but I can't stand doing it this way any more than you guys. And wait. No, lab is a disaster. Yeah. And I believe that I agree with you so much. I don't even care. Like, I think this is valuable to even to have this, and you guys don't even have to do this in chat. If you want to talk, I think it's fair to have like 5 or 10 minutes of us just venting or whatever, because we're all going through this weird thing, and it gets really weird for me to pretend that it's not weird. No, I'm very sympathetic. Wait. Labs are a disaster. Look, anything we're doing, all of us right now, is we're just squeezing water out of a stone because we're all thirsty. Like literally, I mean, we all need to keep learning and teaching. I need to keep having an income. You need to get through college and to wherever you're going. And we all know we're like a shark. If we just stopped because of the virus, we would all die. Like literally, what would you guys do if you weren't? But any illusion that this is actually school is preposterous. We're just trying to get whatever blood we can from this stone, because it's the stone in our hand. Wait, sorry. But now, fact, yes. Right. And all of this just makes me hate the virus as much as you. I don't particularly think, I think it's real. But now, as far as whether I'm teaching it or not, and that's nice of you to ask. Yes, I'm totally teaching I always teach 204. I mean, I love to, because as much as I'm really beginning to like this group, and I am. By the time the great thing about 204 is by the time you get to 204, you know you've made it through 203. So everybody starts with a sigh of relief. Like whatever little nervousness there is here is a little bit gone with the people that are gone by the time we get to 204. It gets very hard, but no, so I am teaching 204. Can I guarantee almost every semester I would guarantee for good or for bad, but just so you can make decisions, generally speaking, I teach every single lecture of 204, and there's generally a lot of them in the spring. I generally teach every lecture of 204, and I haven't done the labs for a little while. Next semester, the only exception to that is there are going to be so many sections to 204. I have to admit that it's possible I won't be doing all of them. Like somebody might do some others, but no, I will totally be teaching 204. I'll be really, here's the insider information.
Professor,
sorry.
I have a reserve spot. I'm just letting you know right now.
For real, you gotta say the spot.
I have a
for me, too.
reserve spot.
Like,
Like you're gonna see Heaven Ortega, you're gonna be like, yeah, she has to be in my class no matter what. Like, so that's what's gonna happen.
You know what section you probably would most likely be teaching?
All right, this is, I'm laughing and this is very nice. This is definitely a warm fuzzy for me without a doubt. I'm a little worried because like you're all saying this, we haven't even had the exam yet. Like you might really be starting to hate me in a couple of days. So let's not get, but I will also, I do want you to know if you're liking anything I'm saying, and I think I was a disaster at the beginning of this. So if you're liking anything I'm saying, of course, I'm very happy to hear that. But please also know that everything I'm saying applies to all. I mean, the only people that teach physics are people that have been hired to have the same attitude as this. So I don't know who else you guys have had. Wait, who is your lab instructor again? Is it Mrs. Walters? Who do you all have for lab?
Professor Wu.
Oh, Professor Wu, right, okay. And look, and again, like lab is impossible. Like I know for a fact, and I've got funny stories about him. If you were in lab physically with Wu right now, and I don't want to hear otherwise, you would love him, you would get him, and you would love lab to the extent, and you would find it less stressful than other science labs. Right now, lab obviously sucks, and it's very hard to have a relationship with Wu in any way right now. And of course, English is not his first language anyway. But if what I'm saying is, anybody you would get for a lecture for 204 is going to take the same approach to exams and all that as I'm taking. But I will tell you honestly, yes, I'm teaching 204 next semester. And the reason I'm pausing and saying there's one section I probably won't teach, just to be honest, and yes, you can plan for this if you want, it's close to official. We have so many, we have to introduce a new section because we have so many students. And the new section, like the third section of Physics 204 next semester, will be on Fridays. It will be Fridays, like in the morning, like and it'll be a double lecture section on Fridays because we can't fit it anywhere. So
Is that going to be your section?
No, I think not. I mean, what I'm trying to say is I didn't want more physics to be on Fridays because I know that's a bad time for everybody, but we couldn't fit it anywhere else. So I'm warning everybody that it will exist. At least one section of 204 will exist on Friday, but I'm the boss. I don't think I want that. I don't think I'll be.
Oh, you're the boss.
Well, I mean, when it comes to.
Oh, he's the boss.
Oh, now we're. Oh,
said I'm gonna put my foot down.
Okay, he said I'm the boss. That's
okay,
the confidence I need.
No, I didn't. Wait, I didn't say that. Wait. Oh, I'm gonna pull a student thing. I know what I can do right now. What? Who said? I don't know what you're talking about. What? Who said what, boss? No, but I'll put that back. Sorry. What I really mean is, if there's any 204 section that I probably want to pass off to somebody else and probably want to not teach, it would be a double period on Fridays. Now, anybody who's already thinking about this in advance, like you guys, probably is the kind of person that does their schedule fast enough to not end up with classes on Fridays. So do with this information as you will. Yes, there will be 204. It will be online. I will be teaching a ton of it. There's so much of it that I probably won't be teaching all of it. And probably what I won't teach is a lecture that's a double period on Friday. Probably. That part's not a promise. But am I answering these? Putting aside the boss, am I making sense? Does this? Are you okay? But then I expect. Look, I want to get. Hope. I'll shut up. But no, this is a nightmare. This whole virus thing, obviously.
No, Professor, you're doing fine. You're doing great.
You're very kind. You are very kind. Wait, where's 50 points for that guy right now? No.
50 points. 50 points. 50 points.
Do you know, literally, you are the first group, seriously, this has been going on since spring of last year, right? As we all know, I think you're the first group that's actually chill enough to make jokes in the middle of a class. And I really appreciate that. Thank God we've broken that ice. I mean, I haven't heard a joke from a student for like a year, and it's depressing.
I can imagine how hard it is just talking to your computer all day and reading just comments and just nothingness. So, I hope that like when we come to class, we could just, give you a little something to teach for.
You totally have. That is so
Me and
sweet.
having tried just a little bit.
This is like my only class that talks. Besides, like, this is my only class that people talk. None of my other classes speak. Yeah.
Whoa. Well, okay. Well, all right. I don't want to. Well, it is real. No, it means a lot to me, guy. And it's crazy that you're thinking. And again, we should move on before I abuse this privilege. But you guys, the fact that you're thinking about it from my perspective at all is crazy. And of course, you shouldn't be your perspective is the much harder one, really, to be you than to be me in this, for sure. And I also know that because remember, I have kids, right? So like, I mean, I'm dying watching what they're going through. But it's very nice of you to think of it from my perspective. And yeah, let's, and I'm horrified to hear, well, all right, I'm going to we're going to go to this practice exam, but you can remind me too, if we want to keep the mood, we have to go back to this thing because we do, but next time first of all, please understand, I'm very much welcoming this, do these risks. Like if you think it's a risk to sort of like break in the middle to make a joke or whatever, I think it's totally worth it. Those really, especially if it's voice and it's public for everybody, just to make this livable. But second of all, if things get tough again between now and the exam and people are looking for a little relief, just remind me, I do have I'll try to make them as funny as I have two crazy stories, one about one about Chegg and one about a take-home final exam that we did years ago, way before there was a virus. We did a take-home final exam, open everything, okay? And this was, again, years ago when I was first trying out, like, how crazy is this? And when you feel like it, when you guys, if you just want a break, if someone at some point today, if you want either of those stories just as a break or as a whatever, I'm happy to tell you. But for now, let's get to the documents. Yeah, and anything I put in the stream this morning, you can sift through is all related to this exam. But right now we're going to the practice exam, which I think I have right, which is right. What we're all going to do in one moment.
I think both sides get it, like the students and the teachers, that it's a both really hard like thing to go through. But like sometimes there's teachers like you who make it easier on us, and sometimes there's teachers who just load us with work.
Well, I appreciate your honesty saying that. I'll ask you, you mean they load you with like a ton of work to do between the class, like homework, or you mean like the class itself? Well, I guess I shouldn't get into this question, but I appreciate what you're saying. I mean,
I'm just trying to say, like, you do things to make it easier for us because you understand what we're going through, but there's teachers who just they get it, but they still don't do things to help us out either.
Right.
And we are appreciative of you. So thank you.
Well, I very much appreciate your believe me, I do. And I'll just say this much without comparing. And some of these other teachers, of course, some other members of the faculty are my good friends, or some of them I really look up to. They're like, some of them are old enough, they're like my heroes or something, and I'm really impressed by them. But just like life, others of them I don't like any more than you do, and I wouldn't have liked if I had as a professor, no name. But the one thing I'll say is, one reason that sometimes I appreciate, if you guys think that I'm trying to be compassionate, I am. One reason I try to be compassionate is because I'm aware of how many mistakes I make. There are some professors that are actually a lot more perfect than their crap is so together in their own lives and in their own brains that in a way they're much more rigid than I am, because apparently, I guess they don't make as many mistakes or whatever it is, they're less messy. So then they, I guess, have less room for mess. I don't know, but for whatever it is, just, I'm also saying thank you for your understanding. I feel like you guys are very, very, very flexible with my mistakes. Oh, and now I'm appearing twice, which is totally not what I mean to do. Why am I appearing twice? Wait a minute. Why am I? Wait, are you guys are not getting a screen share?
Yes, we are.
You are, okay. So I don't know why. Oh, yes, I do. Okay. So, okay, but thank you for real. Thanks. I mean, for real. And again, the real way I can thank you ultimately, I won't even be thanking you with a grade because you're just going to deserve the grade and get it and move on. But I will really want to thank some, especially some of you, like recommendations are yours to be written by me, and they will make a difference when that time comes. And you know, whoever you are, we should talk about that. But that's where I'm very messy. Like I write a very good and helpful recommendation, and when I do, and they mean something. But as you can imagine, it's a little hard to track me down to get me to agree in the first place. So we'll all have to work together when that time comes. But once you want to track me down for a recommendation, once you get me to agree, once you track me down and you get me to agree, then I won't agree unless I really mean it. And then I will go to town for whoever anybody is. But you'll have to track me down. I mean, you'll have to get me to agree. And I'll actually be really honest right now to all of you. What's going to happen is when it's recommended, because it might be for some of you right now, like maybe for the summer or so, I mean, I don't know what, but if and when any of you needs a recommendation, and they do matter, what you'll do is in a private chat, like tell me I need to talk to you about a rec or something like that, and get me off, get me to agree. And you'll know that I've actually agreed. What will happen is if I write a recommendation for any of you, I will give you at that point my cell phone so that you can text me and you probably could find it anyway, but I'm saying I don't use my cell phone for physics class, but I do use it for recommendations so that there's no chance of missing a deadline or something like that. So if this becomes applicable to any of you, even for a summer thing or a January thing, you'll know that that we're in business together for a recommendation for you once I give you my cell phone number and say text me every time a deadline is approaching. And once I've written you the first one, then all the rest of them copies are easy to adapt. So that's just you just reminded me with all these comments and stuff. Like I mean to pay back the favor to you guys when the time comes, but you will have to track me down. All right. So back to this exam. The exam, what is now screen shared is like the first page of the 3 first warm-ups. Maybe with all of my talking, some of you might have already done this, like right now, but I'm going to ask you all now to treat this as like the problem, the 50-point kind of thing of the day at your own paces, not in breakout rooms, at your own paces, quietly start trying to work out these 3 problems. You can, of course, use any of the equations that are on that first page. That first page of equations is what you would have in the actual exam anyway. The sort of assumptions, you don't try to memorize those things, you just sort of naturally, like you'll know you're in good shape with this exam if you don't even barely even use that first page, but there it is for you to use. You don't need anything but it on this part 1 warm-ups. So I'm going to ask everybody to work those 3 at their own pace as you start. And of course there's the solution manual, but don't look there yet is my advice. What I would say is once you think you have answers to any of these, you could start putting in the private chat. If you think you have answers, you want to check with me, whatever, you could put in the private chat. I may be slow or fast to respond, but I actually don't want anybody to be hurried or intimidated by other people's pace. So I want everybody to work at their own pace on this first page. If you think you blast through the first 3, just keep going, but take as long as you need. Pretend this is the real thing. Like, just do whatever you need to do to try to get answers to these first 3. Any input or insight you have, changing the rules for the day, put in the private chat so no one feels something. I will start coming in with hints and things like that while you're doing this. You can ask me questions in the private chat for sure, but let's focus on these first 3 right here. Yeah, and that's it. Or if that's clear. Yeah, so I'm going to shut up. We're going to work on these 3. Oh, okay. I'm looking at, oh, sorry. Oh, and every, wait, what's going on? Oh, sorry. Oh, sorry, Paul. Whoa, sorry, I know we just lost. Hold on, I did not. Hopefully you guys have the document in front of you. I know we just lost it on this share. Um, oh, wait. Oh, to everybody. Wait a minute. Hold on. All right. So now I'm falling behind you guys in the private chat. First of all, the screen share just fell apart. I'm going to put it back. Second of all, if you're already turning to the solutions, wait, and I have not thoroughly checked through the solutions. It is possible occasionally, like my advice right now is to not look at, and even if you think you have something, maybe even just put in the private chat and check with me. I'll recheck the solutions in a second, but it is possible that there's mistakes in the solutions or like that we answered. It's possible that some of the solutions are to extraordinarily similar questions, but then that I changed the numbers at the last minute without changing the solutions. In fact, that is definitely true. So don't take the solution. I'll check for errors in the solutions. Like think of the solutions as methods and ways of doing this. Sometimes the numbers might not match up to the question, which would also give you an idea of how much we vary to the actual exam. So I will look in that in a second. But for right now, if you guys, any of you who are doing any of these problems and trying to see if you're right or wrong, or if you're stuck and trying to see what to do, if you're stuck and trying to see what to do, sure, look at a solution. But please look at it carefully and notice that it might be the right method, but a slightly different number. So adjust. And, or if you're trying to do something, put it in the private chat and I'll try to help. But someone just brought to my attention that indeed, I think one of the solutions already like has the wrong numbers in it. Also, let me say to everybody, the first problem, the first problem is just supposed to be a warm up and all that. It's not supposed to be a trick, but it should, to be super clear, that first problem should really have the word fall or the word free fall in it. Just to be super clear, like that thing, that plushie that's thrown from the roof of the building or whatever, it's thrown, meaning it's given an initial velocity, but it's then in free fall. Please assume that first problem, the plushie's in free fall, that is, you can apply the G number to it. Like I think maybe Alyssa asked at the beginning of class, or Sarah. But yes, that first problem does involve an acceleration, free fall acceleration. Whether you make it positive or negative is up to you. Second problem as well, let me be super clear. The helicopter is accelerating up. It's accelerating up. So the helicopter has a constant acceleration, but it's not free fall. It's like got an engine and it's like blowing air out with its propellers. So the helicopter is accelerating up at an acceleration rate. Then it drops a package out. The helicopter continues to do this while the package free falls. Now, I'm going to remind everybody, I'm not giving anything away when I say that. That's meant to be the point of the problem. But let me remind everybody what's tricky about free fall. Free fall means the only influence on an object, the only acceleration on an object is due to gravity. But free fall could mean something dropped, something thrown up, something thrown to the side, like lab 4, right? Free fall just means once it's released, nothing's touching it or messing with it, whatever it is. So free fall is definitely involved in problem 1, and it's definitely involved with the package in problem 2, just to be clear. And again, the salute, if you have thoughts, please put it. So I'm still behind in the private chat. I'm saying what I'm saying out loud in response to it. And let me redo the screen share before. So I'll go back to private chat in a second, but let me just redo the screen share. I'm sorry. What? Oh, I hold on, sorry. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm still trying to do the screen share. I see why there's a problem, but once, hopefully you guys all have it anyway. But some good, really good questions in the private chat, honestly. So can, ah, oh. Oh, oh my God, I can't believe, oh, wow, all right. Hold on. Time's flying here. Okay, whoa, oh, crazy. Oh, I never got to share, but oh, I'm so sorry. Yeah, yeah. Hmm. Oh. I know I'm seeing the time. We're going to wrap up in a second. I just want to say, I haven't forgotten. Just 1 second, everybody. Wait, what? Sorry. Okay, wait, because time is about to run out, let me say quickly. First of all, I really think this is work. I mean, I appreciate the good vibes from before, but I also think now, from having just lived in the private chat for the last 10 minutes, like I really think you guys are firing on the correct cylinders. Like it really feels like people are thinking and progress, blah, blah, blah. We're going to just continue with this on Wednesday. We're going to keep going through. We're not going to get to every bit of the exam with for sure. The more you, so your homework is obvious. Like you're not turning this in. You're not getting points for this, for the practice. But the more you can struggle with this on your own, and I'll talk more about that Wednesday, the more you will rock Monday in a big, big way. We'll keep talking about this Wednesday, but just understand there's no way we're going to talk through all of it. So the most you can do is the most you can do, like the best thing you guys can do is come with as super specific questions as possible for the next couple of days, Wednesday and Monday. Like the more you've struggled with this and cross-reference the solutions and then can come with like, wait, I tried this, but then I looked at your thing and your thing, I don't understand you, Yaverbaum, or your thing has a mistake. Like you all get how to, we're going to keep going is what I'm pointing out. But for right now, since the private, oh, wow. Oh no, you're the best. No, you guys are the best. I'll just say quickly, the answers to the first three. I do think the answer to the first one is like a 2.11 meters per second, approximately 2.11. I'm using G as 10, and you should do that on all exams. Don't waste your time being perfect with 9.8 because it's not perfect anyway. 9.8 is an approximation anyway. 10 is what all physicists use. Anyway, if I use 10 on problem number 1, I got 2.11 meters per second. Problem number 2, if you got number 1 right, I'm gonna say this quickly, I see it's 1:30, but like say problem number 1, I just used that equation that we've recently, the y equals 1/2 at squared, or x equals 1/2 at squared plus v naught t. If you used it on problem 1 and got the correct answer, then let me tell you, problem 2, use the same equation. Just set it up once for the helicopter and once for the package. Like set up that equation for the helicopter, plug in the appropriate numbers and the appropriate signs, do the same thing for the package, and then subtract, because you'll know how far one went, you'll know how far the other one went, subtract. I will tell, but you have to be careful about what numbers you plug in each and positive and negative signs. I can get all into that on Wednesday, but for problem 2, the answer is 120 meters. If you got 120 meters, you're right. And if you were really careful, you'll notice that it's because the helicopter goes up 120 meters in that time and the package goes nowhere, which is very weird. And you should think about, like, that might even be what's confusing. So blah, blah. And I'll talk about it Wednesday, but the answer to number 2 is 120. And the answer to number 3, which I don't feel like saying, but I think if you're not there yet, this won't, I think it's -2. If you got -2, I think you're right. Meters per second squared, -2. If you didn't get anything yet, then just keep going, ignore me if you blah. But all right, I think you guys are great. Seriously, I really appreciate it. I'm going to stop now because we have to go places. We'll just keep doing this. The more you can do at home between now and Wednesday, the better. Blah, 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 and blah, 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 and electron bless America. And if I could just get a goodbye or any, like a goodbye, just so we know we're leaving.
Bye, Professor. Have a good day.
Bye, Professor.
Bye. Thank you very much. Goodbye.
Thank you so much, Professor.
Well, thank you very much. Seriously, you've changed it. You're a miracle, you people. I will post and post and post.
This was like the perfect, event and little talk session as well. So thank you for that, Professor.
No, thank you. I can't wait to meet you on the other side. Seriously, thank you.
Right? I wish we were in person.
For real, for real. Like, be still my heart. You got, no, seriously, electron bless you. Okay, I will.